I'm Daisuke Inuzuka, a 20-year-old college student. Right now, I'm at the laundromat that just opened in my neighborhood. There's something strangely calming about the fancy decor here. Maybe I'll start coming here from now on. I decided to chill and read my magazine in this quiet and relaxing place while I waited for my clothes to dry. What kind of magazine was it, you ask? It was a women's fashion mag I got at the convenience store on the way here. Ayaka Kurumi is so pretty. I hope she makes her TV debut soon. I'm kind of obsessed with this one model, and I always check every magazine I can to see if I can find any with her in it. Actually, we never talked or anything, but the two of us were classmates back in high school. Back then, too, she was just as beautiful and smart as she is now. Naturally, she was way out of my league. I wasn't surprised at all when I heard she made her modeling debut in college. To put it bluntly, I secretly respected her so much back then, and now I'm proud to support her career as one of her biggest fans. As I was idly reading with the noise of the dryer in the background, wait, the person who just walked in looks kind of familiar. Huh? I looked up to see none other than Ayaka Kurumi herself standing right in front of me. She was covering her face with a baseball cap, but a fan like me could still recognize her right away. I was so nervous I dropped my magazine on the floor.
Here, I think you dropped this.
Sorry. She was wearing a mask, but her eyes were smiling as she picked it up for me. She was even kind to a complete stranger.
I couldn't help but notice you were reading a woman's fashion magazine.
Oh yeah, sorry.
For what? There's nothing wrong with being interested in what you like.
Huh? You're not creeped out?
Of course not. If you're not interested in women's fashion, it means you want to understand women better, right? I think that's a wonderful trait in a man.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. You must have a passion for knowledge, right?
At this point, I feel embarrassed telling her that my passion is just for her.
By the way, do you mind if I ask you if there's a particular model that you like in the magazine?
I guess I like Kanon Yuki here.
I totally get it. She's so cute, isn't she?
Now I made it sound like I'm a fan of someone else! But I'm actually having a conversation with the Ayaka Kurumi! I'm so pathetic. Just having the real person in front of me was making me about to lose it. At this point, I'm gonna lose my chance to tell her how much I admire her work. I'm not a fake fan. I need to gather up my courage and say it. Actually,
Yes? What is it?
I'm a real fan of yours, a massive one.
What?
It's true. You're Ayaka Kurumi, right? I've been following your work forever. The real reason I bought this magazine was because I saw you in it. I said it. Though I think I came on way too strong. She's gotta be super creeped out. In a sudden moment of embarrassing clarity, I was able to objectively think about the situation I was in, and my face went pale. Yeah, I told her how I felt, but I was sure she didn't want to hear that from someone like me. I was probably just bothering her. But to my astonishment, she removed her disguise and...
Thank you for your support.
What?
I haven't made it big or anything, so every little bit helps.
Oh, it's my pleasure, but... I thought she'd run away screaming, but she offered me her heartfelt thanks instead. She even signed my magazine for me. Thank you so much. I'll treasure this heirloom forever and do whatever I can to keep supporting you.
I appreciate that.
I even got to shake her hand when we parted ways, so I was walking on sunshine even as I returned home that evening. That whole thing all felt like a dream. How did a dingus like me end up getting to meet Ayaka Kurumi in person and not only get her signature, but a handshake and a genuine conversation. It felt like this was some kind of reward for my ardent support all this time. Oh yeah, I need to update the blog. Yeah, I was a blogger too. Pretty much ever since Ayaka made her modeling debut, I decided I would publish articles about her career. Over the last 2 years, I've actually cultivated a small but growing readership, and I've managed to earn about 5,000 subscribers. Of course, I don't want to give out any personal information by sharing the experience I had, but I need to talk about her amazing picture in that magazine at least. By the way, Ayaka was actually vastly more popular with women than men. She already was going to Arisuyama Women's University, giving her a leg up on her modeling pedigree and making her a role model for a lot of young girls out there. I thought with looks like hers, she'd be popular with guys and girls alike, but I guess some of her potential male base was turned off by her outstanding academic achievements. What a world. I want to do whatever I can to get her more fans. I've always dreamed of helping her increase her fan base, so I've been working hard to keep the blog updated. Okay, it's posted. I was already on cloud 9 after meeting her in person, so I think I was able to convey my happiness into this article. I slept well that night, knowing that I could continue to do whatever I could to keep supporting my favorite celeb. A few days later, I was back at that same laundromat. Wouldn't it be so funny if I ran into Ayaka a second time? Yeah, right. But if I do, I definitely want to say hi at least. So with my slightly ulterior motives, I headed back into the building.
Oh, it's you. We need to talk.
Huh? Ayaka? She almost looked like she'd been waiting for something, and she seemed really upset. Was she angry? I tried to think back and recall if I did anything that would have made her mad, but nothing in particular came to mind.
Return what you took.
What? The signature you gave?
No.
Wait, she's not talking about returning her love for me, right? I didn't think that was it, but she was really blushing.
I'm talking about my underwear.
What? Hold on a second. I'd never take something like that.
But I was using the dryer right next to yours, right? And the only other person there was you.
Sorry, but aren't these dryers protected by passcode locks?
Yeah, and...
Well, it just doesn't make sense that I'd even be able to steal anything in the first place while you had it open. Maybe you just didn't bring that pair in the first place. If I really did anything, you could check the security footage.
I already tried that. They told me that the camera was broken and wasn't recording anything.
Well, that is a problem. But there's gotta be some way I can prove I didn't do it.
I'm telling you. Oh, I know. Take me home with you right now so I can look for them.
What? Since there didn't seem to be any way I could dissuade her, I gave up and decided to go along with her demands. I never thought I'd get to see her again, and now I somehow managed to get her to hate my guts. I thought I was going to cry. Paying no heed to my clothes in need of washing, I brought Ayaka back with me to my apartment.
All right, I'm gonna pour over your place from back to front.
Look to your heart's content. But that means that in a sense, I get to say I brought home Ayaka Kurume. Meaning, the two of us are at my place, alone. The more I thought about it, the less it made sense inside my brain. I'd never brought a girl back to my apartment. I'd never even been with a girl. At least, I do a pretty good job of keeping the place clean. Not that that was relevant right now.
Is that huge pile every single one of my photo albums?
Yep, I told you, you're my favorite model. Naturally, I've tracked down everything you've ever done.
Right.
But that still didn't change how utterly embarrassing this all was. I knew how bad it looked to have all this stuff in the first place, but I never expected her to see it herself.
Wait a second. I have the same towel.
Yeah, you talked about it in one of your magazine interviews, so I found it online.
I have these exact same skincare products too.
You mentioned in another interview that you also recommended them for men. And so on. She continued to unearth all sorts of tangentially related products in the same vein.
But where's my underwear?
I told you, I don't have it.
Whatever, you're just a fan.
Respectfully, I'm not just a fan. I'm a really, really big fan. Ayaka turned over every inch of my apartment, but obviously didn't find her missing underwear. After that, she finally admitted her mistake and politely apologized to me.
I'm so sorry.
Nah, don't mention it. I'm just glad I'm not a suspect anymore.
And thanks again for buying all my products.
Of course. It's my absolute pleasure as a fan.
Is there anything I could do to make up for this?
I can't really think of anything. More than that, I'm kind of worried about what really happened to your underwear.
They were my favorite pair too.
What kind of design was it?
White with black lace.
I see. Any other distinguishing characteristics?
Hey, I'm not telling you that. Don't just casually ask what someone's underwear looks like. That's creepy.
No, I want to help you search.
You don't need to be that nice.
Then can I buy you a new pair as a present?
I'm good, thank you.
She was acting strangely reserved about this. Well, whatever. Anyway, the case was closed. But Ayaka said she wouldn't be satisfied unless she fully proved how sorry she was. So she offered to sign every single one of my photo albums.
Is this really enough for you?
Absolutely. I'm so thrilled already.
Why?
Huh? What do you mean?
Like, if my favorite celebrity did something like this, I'd be so disillusioned with them. I wouldn't want anything to do with them anymore.
If something like this was enough to get me to stop being your fan, I wouldn't have started following you in the first place.
I suspected you as an underwear thief. I even turned your entire place upside down looking for it.
Yeah, but because of that, you're signing everything I own now. And I get to say that Ayaka Kurume actually visited my house. That's amazing!
Oh,
What's the matter?
do people ever say you're strange? Oh, sorry, that was rude of me to ask.
Nah, my friends say that all the time. They're always like, why don't you at least follow a pop star or something? Why a model that only girls like?
I've sort of been wondering that myself.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I admired you when we were classmates back in high school, too.
What? We were in the same class?
Yeah, I always thought you were amazing, and you were so pretty, you lit up my world even from afar.
Huh?
And not only that, you saved me once, too.
Huh? I did?
Not directly or anything like that, but, and with that, I began to explain my admiration for Ayaka back in high school. I haven't really changed that much now or anything, but back then, I was an especially untalented loser. Every day, I sat in the back of the class, completely alone. If I could say I was good at anything, I guess it'd be video games, but I was never like a pro or anything either. I was just willing away the time. When I was a senior, I was placed in the same class as Ayaka, and I saw her genius and beauty up close. She always looked like she was having so much fun, surrounded by friends. I couldn't help but wonder how my life would change if I could max out all my stats like she did. But I also saw that it wasn't as simple as numbers on a character sheet either. Behind the scenes, she was working just as hard, if not harder, than anyone else. When I learned that for myself, I realized just what an amazing person she really was. Just by looking at her from the shadows, I was inspired to become a better person like her. Though unfortunately, life isn't quite that simple, I guess. No matter how hard I applied myself, I never got anywhere close to your level. But my resolution to change myself as a high school senior wasn't all for naught. When I got to college, I joined a club and actually managed to make a few really good friends. I guess you could say that's because of your influence. But it really is all thanks to you. You honestly inspired me to want to become a better person. And that's why I want to do whatever I can to repay you by supporting you and wishing the best for your career.
I'm really not as amazing as you think I am, you know. I always just jump to the wrong conclusions and stuff. You saw for yourself today how many problems I caused for people, right?
The way I see it, I was lucky to see a more human, less idealized picture of you. You don't mind if I keep being your fan or anything, right?
I mean, if you're still okay with it, then of course I don't. Thanks for your continued support.
And that was the beginning of our continued close relationship as a celebrity and her fan. But strangely enough, all the nervousness and anxiety I felt the first time I saw her in that laundromat had completely disappeared. But there was just one problem. Ayaka?
Sorry to suddenly drop by.
And that was that for some reason, Ayaka randomly started to come to my apartment, and she'd always bring a bag of groceries with her. Ever since that day, she'd come over about once a week, whenever she had time, and cook me an amazing dinner.
I wanted to make Salisbury steak today.
Thank you. As you could probably guess, her cooking skills were on par with her beauty, and so I was blessed with amazing and free hand-cooked meals every time she visited. So, this is really not good.
What? Is my cooking really that awful?
No, that's amazing, of course. I mean, you and me as a model and a fan.
Oh, phew. That's all? I was so afraid I got some measurements wrong or something, and it affected the flavor.
So, like, why are you coming over all the time in the first place?
Stress relief, I guess.
Yours or mine?
Like, don't you agree that only eating your own food all the time is boring?
I guess so.
So, you know, it makes me feel better to know that I have someone to share it with sometimes.
Sure, but I'm sure there are plenty of better people to do that with than me.
Well, I want to do this for you, Dai. We went to the same school, and you're already a fan of me. Why don't you think of this as just another part of your support as my biggest fan?
Please, if any other fans found out we were doing this, they'd show up with torches and pitchforks.
But if we were a couple, then there wouldn't be any problems with this arrangement, right?
I don't know about that. What would your agency say about it?
There's nothing in my contract preventing me from a romantic relationship, okay? As long as I don't stick out too much, I'm free to live my own life as I please. Oh yeah, speaking of my agency, that reminds me.
What is it?
You know the whole missing underwear case? That was all totally my former manager's doing.
What? According to Ayaka, her former manager was just another woman who admired her, and before she knew it, she wanted to be just like Ayaka too. So she started borrowing Ayaka's clothes, and things kind of escalated from there. I see. So she was the one stealing your clothes.
Exactly. I only found out after she quit, too. I'm really sorry again that I suspected you back then.
You seriously don't need to worry about that anymore. What actually happened to you sounds way worse anyway. I'm just a fan, but I can't imagine you having to go through something like that.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked, too.
But now the culprit's finally been identified, so you don't have to worry anymore, right?
Uh-huh. Let me just thank you one more time for staying a fan and continuing to believe in me.
Of course. I should be thanking you for always giving me the strength to keep going myself.
Then it's a win-win situation for both of us, right?
Before we knew it, our slightly lopsided celebrity-fan relationship had been continuing like this for a year.
How's your job search going, Dai?
I thought things were going well with this publishing company, but maybe not. At this rate, I'm gonna end up with 0 prospects.
Sorry to hear that. I'm probably gonna tie a nice little bow on my modeling career once I wrap up college too.
What? Why?
This is fun and all, but I need to start thinking about my future and getting something more stable, you know?
But that's such a waste. Why not expand your portfolio and become a TV personality or an actress or something?
I don't have the confidence for anything like that.
I would never dare suggest that you had to or anything, but there's no harm in trying, right?
Are you just saying that because you're worried you won't have anyone to support after I quit?
Of course not. I just think you're destined for even greater things. That's all. You have so many fans right now that would all be disappointed if you stopped before they could see your potential fully bloom.
About that, don't you think it's kind of strange? I don't mean to brag, but it's true that I have so many more fans than other models at my agency. My Bin Stuff followers suddenly exploded too. My CEO mentioned a major reason being some fan's blog. Why are you smiling like that, Dai?
Oh, no reason.
I told you I'm not bragging, okay?
Oh yeah, I know that. I never actually told Ayaka about my blog about her, or that I'd been continuing it all this time.
Then, if I do continue my modeling career, can I ask you a favor?
What is it?
I hate that even after all this time, we're just a celebrity and fan. Don't you think that at this point, it's a bit boring?
I guess maybe a little bit.
That's why I think you and I should...
Oh, that's it!
What are you shouting for all of a sudden?
I just thought of a perfect method! I navigated to the website for Ayaka's agency. I'm the new intern who will be starting today, Daisuke Inuzuka. I'm excited to do whatever I can to help out around the office. I ended up becoming Ayaka's manager. It was a pretty big organization, but the CEO specifically pointed out my blog during the interview and told me that they wanted someone with design skills like mine on the team. Then they told the news directly to Ayaka themselves.
Jeez, why didn't you tell me before that the blog my CEO mentioned was yours?
Well, I didn't want to brag and steal your thunder.
That should be something you brag about.
Why are you so angry about this?
I'm not angry. Look, what I'm trying to say is...
Yeah, what is it?
I mean, basically, you know...
Huh? What? I couldn't hear that last part. You were trailing off.
I'm saying I love you, Daisuke Inuzuka.
Huh?
There! Was that loud enough for you to hear?
Yeah, I just don't believe it. There was just no possible way that the person I was such a big fan of could ever fall in love with me back.
So, can I go over to your place tonight?
I feel kind of awkward about that now.
You feel awkward?
And that was how, in the span of a single day, I became both Ayaka Kurume's manager and boyfriend. This all happened because I remained a steadfast fan for so long, but if the agency finds out about this, there might be some punishment in order.